Hello, hello. Welcome to Tech Ascent, the podcast where we dive into the trends, strategies, and success stories that are reshaping the tech landscape as we know it today. I'm your host, Oliver Clingain. I'm also the founder of Ascension, the premier business development partner within tech. Today, we're joined by Kanwar Dhaliwal, the co-founder and COO of Everflow. Kanwar, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you on. It's great to meet you. Would you mind telling the audience a little bit about yourself and what you do with Everflow?
Sure. So, as you already mentioned, I'm the co-founder and COO at Everflow. Everflow is a marketing tech platform. Basically, we allow our clients who are a split between agencies and brands to track the performance of their digital advertising and user acquisition campaigns. I primarily focus on product and customer operations, and we're 9 years in and profitable and growing.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. And over the last 9 years, Kanwar, I know a big thing you shared with me about Everflow is that you guys are fully bootstrapped. What has that been like throughout the entire journey?
Well, there's pros and cons. I would say first of all, you have to have strong conviction in what you're doing, because in the end, you are the bearer of ultimate risk. When you're bootstrapping, you don't have a strategic partner and an institutional investor with you for the journey. So there's certainly a bar that you have to meet up front in terms of being able to size up the market that you're going after, being able to build your MVP product that you're going to take to market, and being able to close a number of customers until you get to some level of critical mass and have some repeatability in the business so that allows you to hire and expand the team and go onwards in your journey. So that process is certainly challenging. It takes give or take can take years. Often it takes years, right? It took us about, I would say, 3 years. But then past that, I think as you start to scale the business, it's tremendously rewarding because all the shareholders are largely within the company, right? And then you're able to kind of make decisions and grow the business as you see fit. So it's been very rewarding, but has its challenges, certainly more upfront.
No doubt, no doubt. And like you said, it sometimes takes years to get that wind in your sails, and I guess even starting from the ground up to even build the boat to be able to get wind in your sails. It takes some true manpower to get things going. But before all that happened, what gap in the market did you guys see that made you want to launch this business?
Yeah, great question. So my prior company, previous to this, we built a marketing agency. We were essentially a network/agency business. Another word for being a brokerage. We would have been a customer of the product that we built at Everflow. Right? So in my previous company, it was called Mula Media. We had built all of our tech in-house, and the company was acquired in 2013 by Opera Software, which is a Norwegian company, and then we stayed at Opera from 2013 to 16. And after we were finished with that term, looking at the market and with a strong desire to go and build a product and a SaaS-based company, we realized this is a great market. The market we're in is a great market for us to disrupt, because it has a lot of providers, none of them really that dominant or that loved. So when you have a confluence of multiple factors, those being a large and growing market with a lot of providers with a fairly scattered market share, that's a great market to go and try to disrupt. And that was really the genesis of it.
Very cool, very cool. And Kanwar, making that jump from running essentially an agency to now running a SaaS company, what parallels have you seen, but also what were some of the major differences?
Well, the biggest difference is when you're running an agency, you don't have as much, you don't have as much product or tech depth, right? So that allows you to sometimes quickly grow your business. It's a very sales-driven business, right? But that business also can go away or decline very quickly. That essentially points to the fact that there isn't as much stickiness in that business, right? It's very sales driven. It's very churn and burn type of a mindset. When you go into a product-driven business, you're going to have a lot of time and a lot of energy that you're going to need to expend to invest to building a minimally viable product that somebody will pay $1 for. So there's a much higher bar, right? And growth takes a lot longer to come through here versus in a brokerage/agency business. However, it's a lot stickier and a lot more durable. So you're basically trading off fast growth, but lack of stickiness for, slower growth, especially upfront as you're kind of trying to scale, but with a lot more durability built into it.
Mm-hmm. And which one do you think you prefer?
Well, I'll certainly prefer this.
Yeah.
And frankly, a lot of our employees have come from agency backgrounds, and that seems to be the driving factor for them to also make that change.
Mm-hmm. And do you think you would have been able to navigate the SaaS space without first being in the agency space?
I mean, that's a hypothetical that I can't answer, with a lot of certainty, but it's very clear that it has been a tremendous asset that we were, in this space previously as an agency that gives you. So first of all, I would actually expand that to say that in almost any business, going through an agency first actually helps you get a good read of the market, the technologies, the products, the gaps, et cetera. It's a lower risk way of actually getting acquainted with the market if you want to go down the product side later. So yeah, I mean, I think it's been an asset, clearly. It's hard to say what the alternative reality would have been if we had never been through that before.
Mm-hmm. Of course. And sometimes it's the little skills you compound on the way that you don't even realize that make the biggest difference in the long term.
Yeah, 100%.
But Kanwar, you've now scaled Everflow to 100 plus employees. Being the COO, what does your day-to-day look like now?
Well, being on the West Coast and our business is, I would say, approximately two thirds North America, and then the remaining 1/3 I would say is Europe and Middle East. Everybody's like eastward from where I am, so the day is certainly front loaded. Basically you have to, be engaged early, catch up on whatever happened overnight, and because, so much of the business and everything is running many hours ahead of you. And then we have a cadence of meetings that we go through every day, depending on the day of the week. And then a lot of it is basically your standard catch up, but then you have, your free time. For me, it's about a 50-50 split in which you're working on projects or doing your own research and learning about things that you need to kind of, do down the road. So there's your tactical day-to-day, and then there's kind of your more long-term thinking and work that you do. So, and we're also kind of in a hybrid environment, so we do go to the office a couple of days a week. Other teams are in other offices are also, we're trying to get that going.
Yeah, nice. And have you been COO since day one of the company being launched? Yeah, nice. And over the past kind of 9 years running operations, what are some of the biggest things you've picked up that maybe you wish you learned a little earlier?
Well, I think initially everything runs on culture. When you have a really small team, you don't have much slack. And when you have a small team, hopefully of very competent people with really good culture, you can actually go very far with it. And over time, as the team has to scale, you have to introduce more process, right? So the learning really comes in various stages. You implement something and then you run with it until it kind of runs out of steam, and then you kind of have to take the next step and then run with that. So it's basically comes in phases, right? So we ran on a small team, everybody's super motivated, super dug into what they're doing. And then as you add additional folks on the team, and then you have to start bringing more structure, more repeatability, and then you have to learn along the way. Frankly, there's no manual that tells you upfront how things are going to work out. Each situation is very different. So I would say the only thing that I would leave this with is that you can't take your eye off the ball. You have to remain very vigilant throughout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just keep putting one foot in front of the other.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And planning wise, I think, we've never planned 3 years ahead of time, 2 years, 5 years ahead of time. Like we plan a year ahead of time. We kind of have a rough idea 2 years ahead of time, but we really only do concrete planning 1 year ahead of time. And, and over time that obviously is going to adjust because you're in a dynamic growing space.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And without pulling back the curtain, Kanwar, what does the next year look like for Everflow? What's the goals at the minute?
Well, I mean, our core principles, I just sticking with them, growing steadily year over year, remaining profitable, remaining very capital efficient, maintaining a very strong culture that we have, a culture of accountability, quality, and fun, and really good things happen over time. I mean, if you just stick to the basics and then do them year over year, great things happen over time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like that. And like you said, it's the simple things that go the farthest.
Yeah, yeah. And oftentimes I get asked this question in interviews and other conversations, like, what is your exit strategy or what is your 5-year plan? To be very honest, we don't have one because we don't have outside investors, so there's nobody really pushing us to do something by a certain date. Mm-hmm. So we really are of the view that, okay, we maintain high quality, sustainability, reliability, and continue to grow profitably year over year, and over time great things happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And being in essentially a marketing platform, how do you go about running marketing yourself? What kind of strategies do you guys have to break through the noise of the competitive landscape at the minute?
Yeah. So we use our own platform. So we also have a referral program and affiliate program that utilizes Everflow. We certainly are big fans of dog fooding there. But in the early days, a lot of our marketing was, I would say, more guerrilla marketing and more personal referral-based marketing, right? Mm. Since we had an advantage of being from the space, the first 30, 50 customers were people that the founders helped kind of bring online ourselves, right? If as a founder you can't build an MVP product and bring the first set of customers online, then that's probably not a business you should be in. And then that generated a lot of goodwill, and our NPS scores and any other sort of feedback actually reflect that. And I think the goodwill spread, and then largely a lot of our business that's inbound is just referral based. So a lot of the marketing is free, right? Mm-hmm. But as we've scaled and done more outbound marketing, as well as done some media buying, we use our own platform for that.
Yeah, nice. Sounds like a little cheat code you guys got going on.
Yeah.
And then for the outbound marketing, we've heard a lot of tech companies now are starting to go back out to events, start kind of running the cold call systems, all that again. Do you guys have any specific strategies in place about what you guys are doing for growth?
Yeah, I mean, we are quite present in a lot of the standard industry events in our space. As I mentioned, or actually that's not something we talked about so far. We initially started serving, our initial set of customers were more agencies and networks, because that's the market we came from. So we're present at all the trade shows that cater to agencies and networks. And that's been consistent, and that will remain. But we're broadening that to more vertical industry events that cater to the different verticals where our brand customers are. So for instance, like if it's financial services or health and nutrition, or real estate, and those are the areas that, they have vertical industry focused shows, and that's where we're expanding to.
Very nice. Very nice. And Kanwar, I know you being the head of operations, COO at Everflow, we got to address the elephant in the room. AI has obviously become a massive talking point in the tech space over the past few years. What are your perspectives on it? What do you see, and what are you dabbling in at the minute?
Yeah. I totally expected we'll be talking about this. So there is obviously a lot of buzz. There is a lot of we do see a lot of folks chasing headlines and chasing the shiny object that is AI today. Obviously, it's tremendously powerful technology that's evolving very, very rapidly. So you can't even base your opinion on what was there 6 to 9 months ago. That's how fast it's compounding. The way we view AI, and I think the way many companies in our space view AI, it's a tremendous automation booster in many parts of the business, right? So basically, we view ourselves as becoming more and more AI enabled as time goes on. So when it comes to customer operations, right, or our support team, which engages directly with customers, they can lean on AI-based solutions to kind of help deliver better service there. Sales and business development folks can also have a co-pilot that they can use to kind of do a better job with what they're doing. Product development, similarly, can obviously use the same thing to accelerate their productivity. So that's the way we're seeing it in different areas of the company, how we can tremendously boost productivity for the teams. And as a result of that, you would actually want to expand those teams. Wherever you're seeing a productivity boost, you're going to want more of that. So I don't view it as something that's going to replace folks, as there's that chatter as well. I view this as a big productivity enhancer, which you would want more of over time.
No doubt. And I like that perspective. It's essentially a tool, and if you put the right tool in the right people's hands, it's going to be big for business growth.
Exactly.
And Kanwar, we've touched on it already, but we can start to look to the future now with Everflow. What's the mission at the moment? Where do you want to see the company go?
Well, we've discussed, we're at about 110 folks today. We are a fairly distributed organization throughout North America, throughout US, Canada, and Europe. So we just want to, and most of our growth now going forward is coming from the brand space. So that's really where we are directing our product efforts, certainly our sales and marketing efforts into, and we really want to become the premium marketing platform for brands, and also remain a very pure SaaS platform. A lot of competitors end up kind of breaching that line where they're platforms, but they also become brokerages themselves. It's an easy line to kind of go past, and that's something we've stuck very strictly to. So really, our initial set of growth came from our agency and network customers. That will continue on its path. Nothing changes there. Our next big opportunity is in the brand space, and that's where we're basically directing all of our focus in terms of new product development and certainly sales and marketing.
Awesome. And as we've gathered from this conversation, you've obviously laid a great foundation to make all that happen. So looking forward to seeing your success unfold.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And Kanwar, this is one of my favorite questions to ask at the end of the podcast to founders, especially multi-time founders such as yourself. If there was one lesson or even mindset shift you wish you learned earlier in your career, what do you think that would be?
Be more, I would say be more aggressive, be more inquisitive earlier, more often. The opportunity pool out there is far deeper and broader today than it was 10 years ago, and it's going to continue that way without a doubt, especially with AI, as we discussed, right? So much more is possible. So I would say, like, if I had to redo anything, I would just be more aggressive earlier and more often, because I think the thing that holds oftentimes things that hold people back is like too much thinking, too much second guessing. There's also quick feedback you can get these days. I mean, if iteration cycles are faster, even if you make an error, you're going to know sooner. So it allows for so much more to happen so much faster. So that's very clearly, I think, one thing I would do better.
I love it. And Kanwar, thank you so much for taking the time for the show. I'll be sure to tag your LinkedIn and Everflow's website down in the description, but is there anywhere else people can connect with you on?
Well, I think we're on X as well. LinkedIn certainly is, I think, the mainstay for us. But yeah, we can start with that.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll be sure to tag that all down in the description. And for everybody listening, thank you for taking the time to tune in, give us your attention. And Kanwar, thank you for taking the time to come on the show, share your insights.
Thank you, Oliver. Good talking.
It's been a pleasure.